Let it be known, I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D.
Well, good evening, folks out there in great lands of lands. Welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We are live January 12th, 2024 to discuss the next two episodes in the What If Season 2 series, which will be episodes 6 and 7. So, 6 and 7, which 6 is all about a character they made up just for this show. And the other one is about a great character who we all have loved, Hela herself. And, that one definitely is the better episode of the two. I appreciated that one a lot more. But overall, these episodes were okay. But anyways, so how's everyone feeling tonight going into these two episodes? Andreas, what were your thoughts going on into episode 6?
Well, what was it? Last Wednesday, you told me it was woke, so I was kind of like, okay. So I was like, okay, what that means? Which I know what it means, but I was like, okay, how much woke? How much, I would like it or dislike it. So I'm curious about that. But I really enjoy episode 7. It's really good. Like it. I mean, I love Hela. She's one of my top favorite MCU villains. I mean, Kate, nothing wrong of having Kate Blanchett playing this character, who is awesome. Love the actress, so I'm excited to talk about that. So I'm very curious where we're gonna land with the episode 6.
Excellent. How about you, Jeff? What was your thoughts going into episodes 6 and 7?
Well, going into it, I've been disappointed so far by the season. To be completely honest with you, I think season 1, at least through episode. If you want to know what I thought going into these two episodes, I felt like season 1 at this point in the season was stronger than this season, without question. The story writing was better. The writing was better in general. And I thought that the use of the characters in season 1 was it was more fluid. It made more sense, right? Like I liked it. It was more interesting, more contriving, more kind of out there. Like for instance, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord, for instance, right? We haven't gotten any kind of episode at all that has that kind of like real hardcore, like stark, like what if kind of contrast, right, with the character. Except maybe, the what if Star-Lord, attacked Earth's greatest heroes, whatever. That would be the only episode where I would be able to compare it. I liked the first episode with Nebula, which I already told you that already. Oh, hey, Josh, how's it going, hon? But after episode 1, I really haven't been. The only thing I liked about the Star-Lord episode was I liked the team of Avengers they assembled together. I thought were really cool. I liked that team. That was interesting to me. I liked anytime that they, Cyber, I think we've talked about this before. One of the cool parts about the Marvel Zombies wasn't necessarily the zombie shit, right, of the episode. It was really actually just the team they put together for the Avengers, who they chose to not be zombified and actually be alive. That's what made it interesting for me. I just thought it was a fun squad, right? Spider-Man, actually having Spider-Man as a part of it was huge. Why can't they give us more Spider-Man in What If? Where's he? Like, I don't understand.
It's because of their contract. It's because of their contract with Sony.
Oh, well, now that makes perfect sense. All right, but he's one character, though. Like, for instance, what about the Winter Soldier? Like, I wouldn't have minded seeing. I know we saw him the one time. I wouldn't mind seeing more of him, right? And as much as they've been using, I don't know why they're riding the Peggy Carter horse so hard, right? We got enough Peggy Carter in season 1, right? How many episodes was she in? 4? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, like 2. Well, first season was like 2, and then to this has been like 3 by this point, right? Like two more
Altogether between the 2 seasons, I think this is 4 episodes she's been in now.
Yeah, like for now. But
right, and we already. And I haven't watched ahead yet, but we already know we're going to get her back. So all I will say is just that, as far as what we got for the 2 episodes that we got, you already know, Cyber. I mimicked and said the same thing that Andre said to you. That episode 6 was okay for me, but it was episode 7 that I thought was really strong. That was probably the best episodes of What If so far this year. That I'm already going to tell you right now. I'm going to be rating that either a 9 or a 10.
Excellent. All right, so going into episode 6 here, which is called What If Kahhori Reshaped the World, which, as we mentioned before, this character is completely made up. Marvel made it up for just this season of What If, season 2. She is not in the comics at all. She is not based on any character from the comics as well. And basically, the episode starts off with Suitor, who we all saw from Ragnarok. We got him, of course, in Ragnarok, and he just ends up destroying Asgard in the Ragnarok film. In this, they have it at the beginning where Hela's fighting him. They're all fighting him, and he basically just destroys Asgard. Odin fed up with Hela's misbehaving, which is very similar to how Thor 1 started out, before Thor gets thrown down to Earth. Same thing happens with Hela in this episode. What if it was Hela that got sent down to Earth, and had her powers taken away? And so basically Odin takes away her helmet, which is what gives her power, and gets sent down to Earth. And of course, she gets sent down to Earth during the time when Wenwu is around, which we all know who Wenwu is. He's the character from Shang-Chi, who is known as, of course, the Mandarin. And he is there during his prime with the rings, and basically, is down there doing his thing, trying to take over the world, basically. And Hela comes across it, and they end up fighting. And he's impressed with her abilities to fight and everything, so he decides he wants to keep her alive and around. And basically, they end up kind of growing kind of like a kinship, becoming kind of like friends. And while this is happening, Hela ends up running away, and he goes after her. And basically, they have kind of like a fight again. And basically, then they come to agreement to work together. So we also are at this time. We are introduced to this is supposed to be during the pre-colonial times, before, of course, Christopher Columbus has come over and have found the Americas. So we have these Spanish conquistadors and stuff like that that are a part of this. I'm talking about the Hela episode. My bad. I'm not talking about Kahhori. My bad. Anyway,
What the
guys,
fuck? I was about to say, what the fuck? When did Ragnarok occur during episode 6?
I know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna wait. I was gonna wait this out, Cyber, and see what happened here.
That was
I didn't know we were
hilarious.
doing something different here and combine the 2 episodes to come together and review them together, like as a one big episode to make episode 6 better.
Anyway, so sorry, totally not Hela and all that crap. Okay. Anyway, so Asgard is destroyed. The freaking cube, the space stone, is basically thrown away. It falls into a lake. Somehow the lake absorbs the Tesseract, and it
How does it smash into pieces out of water?
I don't know either. That was retarded as well. So anyways, so that happens. The Tesseract comes down to Earth, goes into the lake. We get introduced to Kahhori and her tribe people. They are being, basically trying to be taken away by these conquistadors. She ends up fighting to try to get away and save her brother. She ends up falling to the lake and falls down to the bottom of the lake and gets slapped through a portal. When she gets basically transported through the portal, she gets taken to this other plane where there's all these other Native Americans, and they all, for some reason, have a power. they're able to have a special power that allows them to do cool things, and they live in peace, and they don't have to worry about the outside world, and they're safe. And Kahhori, is of course, a rebel, and is like, well, we still have the outside world to fix. Why aren't we saving that? And basically, she's down there. She's learning that she has powers now, and she kind of befriends this one Native American guy, and he kind of tries to help her, teach her how to use the powers a little bit. Basically, then she ends up, saying, "Oh, I'm going to go back out because I got to save my brother. I'm going to use these powers to do good." And she tells them, you all should come with me and help save the outside world, and then we can all live in harmony. And so basically, she ends up going back up, and ends up going against the Spanish conquistadors, trying to get her brother back and stuff like that, and fighting them, using their powers and stuff like that. Basically, they're battling out, and she kind of gets screwed up, and she's about to get messed up even worse. And then all the people from that underground world where the Tesseract created this portal come out of nowhere and start helping her. And so they're battling the Spanish Armada, basically, and taking them out and stuff like that. And basically they battle out until the Spanish give up, basically, and basically retreat. And they have saved the day, kind of. Once they retreat, they go back to Spain, of course, and we are introduced to the queen, the Spanish queen. And at where the queen is and stuff like that, she's like going on, why did this happen? Why isn't this being done? I'm the queen. You're supposed to all do what I say, and all this kind of stuff. And that's when all of a sudden Kahhori pops up with a few of the other Native Americans, and kind of like tell the queen, she's not gonna take their resources and their people anymore, and that they're not gonna put up with it, and that we're here to battle you if that's what it's got to be. And basically that's how it ends. All right, so since I wasted that little bit of time on Ragnarok and Hela and Wenwu. Anyway, so episode 6 there, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. What are your guys' thoughts on it? What did you think of Kahhori? What did you think about the episode? How did you like that they centered it all on Native Americans? And did you think that do you think that it inspired and helped the What If series at all, or just your thoughts kind of just on the whole subject matter? Like, did it really matter that they had all this background really to include this new superhero that of Kahhori and stuff like that? Which, like I said personally, when I told you guys last week, I just thought this film was very virtue signaling, and like I don't get what the importance was of all this backstory and her having these magical powers and making this complete character out of air, when we have a slew of other Marvel characters that you could have brought in, that we could have seen finally on the big screen, instead of making one out of nowhere. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts on that. I'll start with you, Andreas.
Sure. So, yeah, I completely agree with you, Cyber. I think it's kind of weird. I feel like this episode had really great, rich thematical themes that it was just not well executed. So it really was, like, as you say, like really fits hand on like the message that they were trying to tell. But if it had like a much longer running time, I think I can more appreciate what they're doing. But unfortunately, because this 31 minutes, or I don't know what, how long, it isn't executed right, and it's just really bad. And number two, I agree with you. Like, why this character? Like, especially, it'd be kind of cool this episode we had an X-Men character. Like, we know we're getting the X-Men 97 show, and all the other X-Men content. It's like it'd be kind of cool to have a character we haven't seen in the MCU, and so that'd be kind of been better than just create a richer one. Now, that being said, I like visually how this new character looks. Like, I like the blue, like, energy coming from her with her, the Native American kind of tattoos or markings she has. Like it really pops, like visually. I think this is actually my favorite visually. It's one of the most beautiful visually, like impressive what if episodes of all time. I feel like it's really visually great and like very anime in a good way. It's one of the best animation I think styles that what if has done. But yeah, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. I think they needed more time to tell about this character. Plus, I cannot hey say be annoyed or angry at this episode because we got the Doctor Strange cameo, and we know she's coming back in the finale, and in the Doctor Strange episode. So I'm curious how she's gonna fit into that story. So they're making me intrigued about this character and what's her appointments to the Sinister Strange or Supreme Strange, whatever you call it, for the What If show. So I'm very intrigued, but overall, I think this episode was very weak to introduce this character. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
What did you think about how similar she is to Echo?
Oh,
Good question.
Yeah, I personally mean you cannot compare that to Echo. For me, like, I mean, I know they're trying to maybe give powers to Echo, but the thing that what I like about Echo is that she's a very grounded character, a very gritty in this really dark and gritty world that she's in, and I appreciate about that with Echo, and I I cannot really compare that to to this character really, and plus this character talks, and then you got the other one that doesn't talk, and I just don't think it's hard to tell. Plus, we need to see how Echo dives into the native culture too, because here we're in like revision history, and here with Echo we're in the present time, and they're adding lore to the Echo character, but we'll see. I think they're totally different characters. I think it's just people are making such a big deal out of it because these shows just are like already simultaneously air simultaneously, so it's convenient that we have two native characters that Disney has been pushing. So, but they're very different.
How many episodes of Echo have you watched?
I haven't gone through yet. So
that's why. Okay, so
yeah,
so you haven't seen what's to come. So yeah, once you see the next few episodes, you'll see what I'm talking about. But virtually, it's the same exact freaking thing. It's an ancestries, and it has to do with the ancestry. Every episode has an ancestor that supposedly is related to Echo. That's Native American that has some sort of power. And so you'll see how the shapes on on Kahhori's hands in this exactly what happens to Echo, and you'll see that in the second episode. So, but yeah, that's the reason why I asked that question. I didn't realize you hadn't watched any more of it. Anyways,
yeah, no,
Jeff.
no.
That's okay. No, you know what? No, honestly, Cyber. I mean, I haven't watched any of this stuff yet, but this, of course, is the side effect of having these new release schedules where they're dropping everything in one shot or like every other day. Is that I've already flat out seen a YouTuber that I respect that's not big critique Echo as a flat out another MCU dud, like straight up from jump. You know what I'm saying? And this is somebody that that falls in line with us on agrees with a lot of the stuff we like Andor, right? Thought it was like the best Star Wars stuff that came out since the fucking, the first trilogy and whatnot. Somebody that usually is out of agreement with us on the stuff we like. Was 50-50 on Ahsoka. Thought it was good, good and bad. Flat out said the Echo just goes downhill from jump. Of episode 1, and I didn't watch the whole video. This is just the title saying that. So this isn't the first. That's not the first article already or first video I've seen already tearing Echo up. These aren't the usual characters either. These aren't the same people on Rumble that we both know who I'm talking. You know who I'm talking about that eat off this shit like 24/7, right? These are just regular standard people, whatnot, that are just being critical and saying this is not good. Honestly, as far as episode 6 goes, I could give a shit less about Kahhori. Why they would actually create a new character in a what if animated fucking series makes absolutely no logical sense to me. When you have a vast fucking universe of characters that you could employ from anywhere, any phase you want. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. You could use any one of them. You know what I'm saying? Right? You can bring back the original 6 Avengers characters anytime you want to. You can have Black Widow in this bitch, right? You can still use Hawkeye, right? People we'd love to see. You could even bring in what's her name from Secret Invasion that got killed off. All right, and do something with her, you know, as sort of like a send off to her character since they kind of did her wrong in Secret Invasion. You know what I'm talking about with that. Agent Hill.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, they could have done a redemption like sort of like they did with Anakin and Ahsoka. They could have done something like that with What If. Why couldn't they decided to take this slot and use it for a secondary character and bolster a secondary character? Why isn't Sam Wilson in any of these episodes?
Or Black Panther?
Or Black Panther. Why isn't Sam Wilson as Falcon or something? Why isn't he as Captain America in any of these episodes? Wouldn't this be a good opportunity right now to give us some more Captain America 4? It's been fucking since what, 2 full years plus since we got Falcon and Winter Soldier or some shit.
2021.
Wouldn't it be nice to see him again in costume, whatnot, and everything? Imagine what kind of really cool costume they could probably give him in an animated version, right? They could really play around with him. Get him together with Bucky again, right? Because we know that now that he's going to be on the Thunderbolts, we're not going to get to see him that buddy stuff anymore with them anymore. That could have been fan service moment right there to bring them together again. There's just so many things. I mean, when you have a What If series, you can go in so many different directions, right? The stuff that did work in season 1 worked because of the characters that they picked to use and because of how how they used them, the concepts of the What If episodes. So at that point, to me, I just don't grasp why it was necessary to force an agenda, right? To force and if anything, an agenda that's dead. Right? That like doesn't even need to be resuscitated or brought back at all anymore. There's no point in it. It's dead. It's moot conversation as to what happened with colonialism and whatnot and everything, right? And like the conquistadors and shit and whatnot. How do we know that this is how the conquistadors treated the Native Americans? What? Because Marvel Studios? What? Because they gave the scripts to like the Echo series and all that shit. They gave this script to the Mohawk Indians to fucking like make sure it was okay. How do we know that they're not full of shit? Right? Like, seriously, who the fuck are they to goddamn, like, seriously, like, ratify a script for a fucking episode of a Disney Plus series show? Who the hell are they to ratify the Echo series? Seriously, that scares me. When I saw that about Echo, I was like, oh shit, I hate to conflict it now, but you brought it on the table, Cyber. I can't help but contrast and compare. Now I went from being really excited about Echo to being like really, really nervous about how the rest of the series is going to go. And I'm pissed off that they did not just stick with the comic book accurate Echo from the fucking comics and just had her have the power set that she has in the comics that mimics Daredevil's. It makes perfect sense. She's supposed to contrast Daredevil. That's what makes her formidable fighting him, not magic or Indian. Honestly, all I have to say about the Echo part is it's simply that, to stick to episode 6, is simply that Stan Lee never would have approved any of this shit. He never would have. He never would have approved episode 6 of this What If series. Stan Lee never would have approved changing Echo's powers the way that they are, right? Over virtue signaling and whatnot, everything and all that and whatnot, right? And he never would have done it. Stan Lee would not have done it. He would have stuck to the comic book accuracy and whatnot and everything and what was already done with the character, because there was nothing wrong with it. Echo is not a flawed character from the comics, or it wouldn't be in the MCU. Right? As far as Kahhori goes, episode 6, Kahhori has no MCU background. So she's fucking irrelevant. Who gives a shit about episode 6? Who gives a shit about what she does with Supreme Strange? Seriously. There aren't bigger characters or more important characters that Supreme Strange needs to go find. Like, he's been trying to search this bitch. For what? Yeah, for seriously. This guy freaking, he managed to destroy his entire fucking universe, right? He's that powerful. You know, he actually can talk to the Watcher whenever he wants to and just be like, Watcher, what's up? And just talk to him. but he's got to search through history to fucking find this bitch because she's got some blue face and blue fucking paint on her hands or whatever, and she made some dinosaur flip flop over her head so she could eat some fucking fruit crystals or some shit.
Yeah.
It sounds like a goddamn episode of goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Not fucking What If. The fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Seriously, bro. There's this Transformers.
Or, I mean,
bro. You know what I'm
right.
saying? What's next? Are we gonna have fucking is He-Man gonna pop up in episode 8? Why did Supreme Strange go find He-Man? You know what I'm saying? Really? Seriously. He-Man fucking, I mean, better than Kahhori. If there's some big issue going on and whatnot, everything, I can think of a better person to start your team off, right? To fight Kangs or whatever the fuck it is, than goddamn Kahhori, right? Like seriously.
True that.
Why Kahhori even have to be a woman? Haven't we already seen enough episodes featuring women in What If this season so far? What the fuck?
As we continue to say, the MCU is still there, unfortunately, and I think somebody complained that there wasn't enough female characters in the first season, and so that's why they wanted to make several more like female-driven ones in this season. Even though we had Wanda, we had Black Widow, we had
the best episodes featured female characters.
Exactly, and so I don't get how there wasn't any female. What's the word?
Representation. Or...
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, representation in the first season. There was plenty of it. I mean, this season started off. Nebula is the very first episode, woman. This episode, Kahhori, woman.
Episode 7, Hela. Like it's just one after another, after another, after another.
And I mean, Captain Carter is one whole, like several of the ones this one. So I just don't get this whole thought process that they have so many characters that they could bring back and redo and give these what if storytelling to, but yet they keep focusing on these certain ones that everyone keeps saying, okay, enough with them. We want something different. And that's kind of the reason why the MCU's in the crapper it is in. Everyone keeps saying, you guys keep recycling the same crap. You don't give us anything new. And, and the only way to bring people back is to bring back the original 6 to get people to come back to it because that's when it was still good and everything.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, Cyber. You're making good points. I just want to wrap up and just simply say that I'm glad that you emptied out the whole episode 6 slate for us to just play with, because Andreas, you already know this, I believe. I hope you do. I know that you're not a big fan sometimes going into this territory with us heading into any kind of political direction, just like I don't like to when it comes to this woke stuff and whatnot, right? But this is becoming an issue, Andreas. You have to admit, right? I'd like to think that we can find common ground on this level, on some level, right? With this regard, because you already know how, but the parts, the episodes of What If that I really liked the first season, like this, like like for instance, the zombies episode. Scarlet Witch was in it, and she didn't get a lot of screen time, but just the concept of her being a zombified fucking Scarlet Witch, right, with her power set on its own, that concept was something I thought about for months in my head after watching it, right? Literally, what it would be like if they just did a whole project, a whole episode of What If, just showing what zombie Scarlet Witch was capable of. Then they gave us to her again, right? In like episode 8 or whatever, whatnot, with Ultron, we got to see her again. Right? Didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was great. And you know what? Look, honestly, if anything, this season makes me appreciate season 1 more. It really does, because like those final 2 episodes were great, right? Bringing back Ultron was great. It really was. It was like really, really great fan service to bring Ultron back. I think a lot of fans would love. I've heard other people on the show say they'd like to see Ultron come back to the MCU. I would. Yeah. I don't see why you can't bring him back. We never saw him die. No,
I mean, like, I think What If did a good job of reinventing Ultron to be this menace that he's supposed to be, that they were trying to do in Age of Ultron. But I thought What If did a better job of that. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I completely look. I cannot sugarcoat this, but I do agree with you guys about this, MCU thing, and it's definitely there. Like you see that with Love and Thunder, and oh my God, what else?
Wakanda Forever. Wakanda
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah, it's there too. But yeah, but my issue with this show, I think, right, for me, it's like it's outside of that. Like I think I understand you're trying to be consistent with the brand for the MCU, but I always think that what if should be more outside of the continuity, because you are limiting yourself with stories within the MCU continuity. If you just plain up make this what if into a comic book animation show where you're allowed to use all various characters that haven't been in the MCU, could be more interesting than just sticking with the MCU continuity, because it's just really tough. But at the same time, Black Panther, like I can understand they cannot use Black Panther for this season. I mean, they used his father to be, the replacement, for that. So I don't know why they didn't go with that. And plus, like I brought up in the chat, like I was surprised they didn't include Red Guardian and Elena and the Black Widow supporting characters that we got introduced to them. Not in this season. It's weird. We know we're gonna get a third season. What if? I don't know. You guys know that, but I know that, and I know they're gonna do a Red Guardian centric episode. But why couldn't we have that in this season? Plus, I have this problem from the first season. I have this problem in the second season. Why are we building up to something towards the season finale? You don't need to do that, and especially with this character, with like first off, like how is she going to reshape the world? Like I feel like the title of this episode 6 was like completely what was it, like misdirect us. It's like the only thing she could do is just like punch, like destroy things and like create force fields, and that's it. It's like how much powerful is she, besides being the the source of the Tesseract, which they didn't even explain in this episode. That was another thing, like unexplained things to me about how is this Native American people are in this like alternate world, and then you got this girl being affected with the power, and like how she like connect, like it's just really bizarre. It's just really awful writing. And then plus I I I I don't know, I just feel like they are forcing this because they are I don't know, it's like it's just they're making more messy stuff in this season, and I'm just a little worried about doing this. So I agree with you guys. I agree with you, Jeff. It's definitely the weakest season so far. The only episode I like is the Pierre Quill episode with the Avengers. Like that's been my only favorite thing about this season, besides the Hela one. I think the Hela one, the second, towards being my favorite. So, but yeah, I think there's just like there's greatness in the show, but there's some weaknesses that I wish they could get rid of. Like you don't need to do this build up to the season finale. Like this show should be what Twilight Zone or Black Mirror is for Marvel Studios. What if? Like you don't need to do this like interconnected build up to this series. Like I get that's the thing, but like people, this is oh my God, I know you're gonna do that. Anyway,
The blowjob dimension.
Ah,
oh my God, dear Lord.
All the women have magical abilities. They can give different styles of blowjobs.
there you go,
right.
folks.
Yeah.
And your dick turns blue during it too.
Yeah. What else? Well, actually, it's kind of funny. Like, I'm trying to figure out like why we cannot have a Hawkeye centric episode. Like it's kind of weird. Like he's still around. Like didn't a Hulk centric episode? Like for me, I need that because I'm a huge Hulk fan, and like we need like a serious Hulk episode.
How about a
know?
Kate Bishop?
They fucked
Yep.
Hulk and What If.
I know they still don't understand the Hulk.
Oh, I know.
Yelena
That's
Belova.
good point. Good
Yeah,
point,
Lena
Cyber. Where's Yelena Belova? Where, like, seriously, where's her
Where's Kate
episode?
Bishop?
Thunderbolts is coming out, right? Like, where's Kate Bishop? If they're gonna do the Young Avengers, why isn't Miss Marvel or Kate Bishop in this shit?
Yeah,
Or
Miss Marvel.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster. Miss Marvel. Like,
Miss Marvel.
yeah, I don't understand this. Or like, I don't know. I know you guys don't like this character, but what about Monica Rambeau? Like, I like that character.
Oh, I like Monica Rambeau. No.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a reason
You
I
like
created
Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau is dope.
Yeah, she's great.
Like I want an eccentric episode about her and her mom. Her mom is great too, and I'm like surprised they haven't done that. So yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. This season is the weakest. There's not been great. I mean, look, last season you have the last performance of Chadwick Boseman, so it was always going to be tough for them to do something with Black Panther for this season.
But no, but Andres, that's a good point that you make that, because here's the thing, though, right? If there was any desire on Marvel's part, if there was a scheduled plan to not use him this season because they don't want to, because they are going to recast for Black Panther 3, if they were concerned about that, right, which they clearly aren't, why wouldn't they be vindicating and using these characters that we know are coming out in the Thunderbolts, that we know are coming out in Captain America 4, that we know are coming out in the Young Avengers? Why wouldn't they be using What If Season 2 to elevate them?
Yeah.
But they're not, right?
Yeah. Here's the data. I was thinking about this while you guys were talking about this. The issue is the episode count. I think this series needs to be at least like 20 or like maybe 13 episodes long. Because like just having this 9 or 8 episodes just isn't enough to like do maybe these other alternate stories. Like and extend the episode a minute too, like at least 40 minutes. Like I think 40 minutes you could do more of the story. Like that's my thing. Is I think we need more episodes to tell like what we're talking about, other centric character episodes, so that we can at least balance it a bit more. So I feel like that's my issue with these last 2 seasons. It's like we have these like 9 or 8 episodes count, but we're not getting enough to do our fan favorite characters to watch, and I feel like we need to expand the episode count. But then there's also the running time. Like they need to extend the running time to at least 40 minutes, like to tell the stories they're trying to tell. So that's my thing with these seasons.
Agreed. Most definitely. Yeah. So great talk, guys. Excellent. Very well done. I would 100% agree. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes these things come up when we talk about them, and they get brought up, and that's just how it's going. And we're not just the only ones talking about this stuff. There's plenty of other people out there that do podcasts, that do stuff like streaming and stuff like that, talk about the exact same things, and we're all seeing this, and it's just becoming too much. It's literally become such a common thing that everyone's saying the same thing. Like, this is just stupid. We need to move on. We need to get back to basics. And, that's why a lot of people are saying, hey, if you bring back the originals, that's how you're going to get people to re-come back, because that's what they liked. They don't like the new stuff that you're trying to do. And, when you come into a series like What If, which, like you were saying, Andres, it completely out of the box. You could do whatever you want with this because it's animation. You could do, it's what if it's different from what was already canon. And the beauty of it, the fact that is that there's so many characters that we still have not seen, that they have not brought in, that we have, that just like what Jeff was saying, why did we get this character when we have so many characters you have not shown us, or characters that haven't got enough screen time in What If because of either you decided to go this way, or they didn't get enough time in anything. And you think that like what everyone's been saying is, you think you would want to build up projects that are going to be coming out in the future to get people's interest to want to go see those. Because as of right now, a lot of people, anytime they hear something new MCU's coming out, they're who cares, because of what they've done and made this the MCU. And it's just sad that that's unfortunately what has happened with this great franchise that gave us a solid 22 great films. Amazing films. I mean, we still have gotten some good ones since, but there's not as many good as there are just being stupid. And so that's the sad truth, and it showed last year's box office. Disney is the first time in like 20 years they're not on top because of the crap they pulled over the last 2 or 3 years. So it's their own fault because whatever they're deciding to follow, that it's their problem. So yes, Jeff, you had something you'd like to say.
I think it's interesting too that I just don't see where Feige's mindset is on this stuff, because he's the shot caller at the end of the day on what gets released when, and the guy's not stupid. It's well known that he's very astute and he pays attention to what the fandom people think, that he actually watches YouTube and shit and whatnot and wants to know what people on the ground level think of the MCU, that he puts in that time. And he's that consumed about this stuff and whatnot, everything that he literally, his ear is always there. His eye is always there on the fandom, the pulse of the whole fandom, where they're at, right? He knows this MCU shit has been rejected already. He knows it. He's well aware of it, that it did not work, right? Like, it's not working. In fact, it's hurting the brand at this point. And honestly, it's gotten to the point now where, Cyber, I think what it is with us, the reason why we don't have these conversations often is that when we have bigger panels on the show, we just do our episode reviews and do them, right? Like, we don't really have time for a lot of side conversation and whatnot. We're trying to keep our shows within a certain time length, right? And we're trying to do our reviews. It's that simple. We're doing what we do, our jobs. We review episodical TV shows and movies and whatnot. That's what we do. We're not having as many shows anymore where we're just talking anymore openly off articles anymore, right? And just debating anymore what's going on in the MCU, like me and Andreas have started to do on Bleeding Edge Report, right? We used to do that more often. That was part of our deal. Like, we would have a show here and there, whatnot, where we'd have William on, right? And Andrew on, and Jeff B and Gunnar. I mean, we'd just talk back and forth and talk shit about what the state of the MCU was, what was coming out next, what our thoughts were, what our problems were, and we would flush all that shit out. So we just don't have that many opportunities to have these chats unless it's just the three of us, right? Or like during Endgame, the part 2 review, when we had Matthew on, who's, just really good on the panel. And he kind of almost took us to that place on his own. So we ended up going off him into this conversation on that show. Right. And you can see the veracity even with Andreas on the subject, right? That let's, again, my final points were just basically that one, even people like Andreas, even the ones I've shown you, like people like Everything Always, The Cosmic Wonder, these YouTubers that don't get into this stuff. They don't talk about MCU. They don't get into any of it. They cover the MCU stuff and that's it, right? Even they've gotten to the point where they're starting to mention this stuff now in their videos, that they're tired of it, right? The Cosmic Wonder did a whole video last month saying, bring back male characters to the MCU. Bring them back. Like, this is enough. We've had enough of this shit, right? Like, bring back the strong male characters. We need them in the MCU again. You got to bring them back. Like, pleading Marvel, right? To do it. Because he's a fan.
Yeah, I agree. Like my thing is also use the characters you have existing that are popular. Like, that's my thing. Like, you already have existing characters that people like. You should use.
Some of them we've been waiting for years.
Yeah, like Jeff, you brought up the MCU before. I just say before, like, what I like about the first half of Phase 4 was reintroducing the characters we like Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, and WandaVision. Those characters. There should be the next generation of heroes.
What are going to end up going down as the best Disney Plus series we ever got.
Exactly, and those are the characters you should focus as the next Avengers. But as it is, we have these now bunch of new characters that people don't care about.
No.
And and it's like you're wasting resources. There's some that people do like I like Miss Marvel. I think that's success. Alea, she's perfect. I think you can. She's definitely a success. With Florence Pugh. But after this, come on, people don't care about Moon Knight. I mean, I just don't see that. And I mean, She-Hulk, it was just a really bad direction, and just please just focus on the characters you have that were from the previous phases that didn't have time to shine, and make them the next Avengers team to be in these next phases.
No, you're bringing that whole back to the home. And my only second point was just simply Cyber and Andreas. We've already discussed the fact that for the rest of this year, we're only going to review one other live action Disney Plus series, the Agatha show, other than Echo, which before you know it, in a snap of the fingers, we'll be done with that one, right? The whole rest of the year, the only Disney Plus stuff that we're reviewing is going to be animated, all of it, right? Potentially up to 4 different more animated shows coming out this year, up to 4 potentially if they do the Wakanda show this year. So that's 4 animated shows that we're looking forward to potentially this year from Marvel. How does this set a tone for that at all? How does this lead into that? Well, you know what I'm saying? Whatnot? How does this make people want to come back to Disney Plus and then tune in and watch Spider-Man Freshman Year or whatever they're going to call it now, right? Off this shit. It just doesn't, to me, I don't see how this makes a good sense from a business standpoint, right? From a business standpoint and from a marketing standpoint, I don't see how this helps the MCU at all. And I want the MCU to work. I want it to work. I want them to get back to making quality projects. They can do it. They've proven that they can do it. They can make good Disney Plus series when they want to. They just have to start doing what Andreas just said. Stop giving us these fucking characters nobody asked for, right? Just forcing us down our throats and then expecting us to just accept that shit. It's not going to goddamn work. We don't want them. When you've already got other ones sitting on the fucking burner for years, like Ghost Rider, where we just stopped asking for them. We just gave up. No one's even talks about him anymore. Why bother? Blade. It's like the movie, the Blade film disappeared. It's gone. It's off the radar of even talking about it now. Right?
Yeah. And recently, apparently, the Fantastic Four is delayed again, which is so annoying. It's come on. I'm not a Fantastic Four fan, but Fantastic Four is important to the Marvel universe. You have to understand that they're the first family from Marvel. It's they
don't want to fuck it up. They don't want to fuck it up, man.
Oh yeah, after 4 failed attempts.
So yeah, that's it, Cyber. I just wanted to mention that I think it's a good point. It's a really strong point to make that as we forecast this whole year for Disney Plus animation, they're about to give us more Marvel animation we've ever gotten in a year. So I just don't see how it made sense for them to go in this direction of What If Season 2. Then again, though, I do think it's important to remember that they shot this stuff a long time ago. They did.
Yep. As was mentioned originally, the first season was supposed to be 20 episodes long. So technically, these 2 9-episode seasons were all part of the same season originally. That's what they originally were intending to do, and they split it up. So we still technically got 2 more episodes in season 3 that should have been those prior episodes that they had already done. So it'll be interesting to see how those 2 go. But yeah, I agree. This whole year is going to be interesting Marvel wise, especially with only the 1 live action film and then all these animated series, and supposedly Agatha coming out at the end of the year. Hopefully we still get it. Who knows with how things are going, they keep moving things around. But yeah, I saw the Fantastic Four thing too. I thought that was kind of interesting. And the last one I saw said they delayed it because of Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Andres, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll finish you. I'll go for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What I heard is that because Pedro Pascal was supposed to shoot a film, but now he had to drop out, and so now they need to command his schedule to because he's a very busy guy. He's in The Last of Us, and he's doing
so?
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's busy, and also
Andreas, we cover all the shows he makes.
Well, yeah, but also recently this week, apparently, was it the Mando and what's the
Grogu.
Baby Yoda, Grogu film has just been announced now, so now he's gonna be even more busy. So I mean, and it's kind of funny. This confirms that he's going to be Mr. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal. So like he's going to be Mr. Fantastic. So that's why they delayed it, just for that. So
No, you brought it up. I don't see how. I never really thought about it that hardcore until right now. But isn't it going to be tough for him to figure out how to fit all these different? I mean, this guy is so in demand that like, I don't know. I'm just wondering how they're going to be able to get him in to even film his scene for the Fantastic Four. He's got to deliver the season 2 of The Last of Us is highly anticipated, right?
Yeah.
And the Mandalorian season 4, the Mandalorian is the Disney Plus Star Wars show that brought Star Wars alive on Disney Plus, right? So he can't just walk away from that.
Well, here's the thing: if they keep, now that they delayed the Fantastic Four film, they need to keep it, on time and schedule. If they delay it again, that's when he's gonna drop out, because you cannot like do another delay. It's like, come on, you say you're gonna shoot this film, on that. So it's just a matter of fact that this new Fantastic Four film has to be on time and schedule. Everything has to be like set and done, compared to like the Blade film. Like the Blade film just went through so many directors and writers, like it needs to be like, like you need to be ready, and then I will commit to this project, but if you're not ready, then he's gonna drop out easily.
Cyber, think about it now, looking back after everything we know now. We haven't even got into reading that book yet about the MCU. We haven't even got into that yet. I'm gonna get it so we can talk about it on one of the shows, right? So we can start getting into it. But think about it. You got to give a lot more props that maybe even ever before to Mahershala Ali. Can you imagine the absolute garbage that they threw at him? That he had to fucking reject those scripts over and over again and whatnot and everything. Do you imagine the garbage that they were trying to make him do? Right? And he said, nope, fuck that. And now we know why. Right? Now we get it.
Yep. I mean, honestly, I don't see Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic at all. And it has nothing to do that he's Spanish or anything. I don't care about that. I just don't see him as fucking Mr. Fantastic at all. He is great in everything else I've seen him in. He's really fantastic in Last of Us. He's great in The Mandalorian. He's a great actor, but I just do not see him as Mr. Fantastic because he does not have the presence of Mr. Fantastic to me. He has that quality where he could be a leader, but he does not have the sophistication, the smarts, and leadership as Mr. Fantastic is. And height-wise, look-wise, he does not, to me, look the part either. I don't think he's a good choice. So if they do delay it again, I think it'd be good if he dropped out, because that would allow him to have more time to do Last of Us season 2, give him more time with Mandalorian, the Grogu and Mando film. I don't think he should take on the Fantastic Four just because of all the other stuff he has got going on that he's already has good going on for him. I think that, because of how much the other Fantastic Fours have been rejected, I think that's a bad casting choice. And I don't think that's going to work out for them. Because, I mean, look at, Miles Taylor tried it. He was okay, but really wasn't a good choice. The best choice, Ian Grufford, I'm sorry. He was fantastic as Mr. Fantastic. He had that smart thinking ability, and he had the whole Mr. Fantastic down, and he was perfect choice. So I don't know why they just don't bring him back to play the character again, because he was really good. And, freaking bring back Chris Evans as one of the characters too. Have him come back as Johnny Storm. He was perfect as Johnny Storm too. And I know he's played Cap, but who cares? He is now an older, refiner version of Johnny Storm you could do. And, I think he would have been perfect. I think that the two Fantastic Four films that came out in the early 2000s get too much slack because I think they were absolutely fantastic films. And I don't know why people say they're so horrible, but they were good because it was really well casted. I mean, the only person I didn't really think was fitting into the part was Sue Storm, Jessica Alba. Now, yes, she's attractive, she's beautiful, she's a decent actress, but she was not Sue Storm. She did not portray Sue Storm well enough. And all you got to do is bring back that other cast, I feel, and just get a new Sue Storm, and you'd be golden. And with it, when you have better Marvel writers, you bring back some of the people that have made some of the best Marvel films there are. I mean, Stephen McFeely and what's his name? They should be writing the Fantastic Four,
You
because
think they
look
want
at,
to touch the MCU now? Fuck.
I know, but at the same time, if they actually gave them the freedom to do what they used to do, we could bring that back. And I think that would make the people start wanting the MCU again if we got these original writers back that gave us amazing films, you know? And I think if you think about it, a lot of these longtime directors that have directed a lot of stuff, why we haven't seen them come back is because they've seen what has happened to the MCU.
Yep.
I think that's probably why Mark Webb decided not to do anymore. I think that's probably why what's his name dropped out of doing Fantastic Four, because he saw what crap they wanted to do.
John
So
Watts.
I mean, yeah, John Watts, because I mean, look at what he did with the 3 Spider-Man films. Fantastic films. Amazing. And you know, why, as a company, when you want to make profit, why wouldn't you keep what's making you money? And instead of trying to give it to all these artsy people that, oh, they're making all these artsy films and stuff like that that can make the MCU different. And it just drives me absolutely nuts. Why would you change something when it's working perfectly as it is?
Cyber, you make it a really good point, brother, because honestly, it is so stupid at this point. You already had a formula that worked, right? You went away from it, right? And look where it took you. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally at the point where now you're going to have to pay $50 million to bring back fucking Black Widow just to show up in one goddamn movie for 5 minutes or whatnot, just to resuscitate this fucking MCU. You're right. I mean, seriously, like seriously, maybe you should have taken care of her the right way to begin with. Right. Well, that's another conversation, but still, the Reed Richards casting is huge. The other 3, those are not as difficult to cast. Those characters, I just wanted to point that out. I think we are all in agreement. The Reed Richards casting is the one that's the toughest. It's hard to nail down Reed Richards. The only thing that Pascal's got going for him is his age. His age fits perfectly for who Reed Richards is in the comics. He is older, right? Sue's younger, like way younger. That was the only thing that they did right with Alba. Casting her was that whole dynamic of the youth versus the older Reed.
Yep.
But no shade on the older Fantastic Four films, Cyber. Honestly, I think the only reason why you don't hear the talk about them really bringing them back for Secret Wars is because there's just only such a limit for what they can bring in, or what, you know what I'm saying? I think if it was up to Feige, he would try to give a send off to all those old original characters, right? If it was up to him. I ain't got no hate for Feige. I just don't understand him anymore. He's lost me a long time ago, and things are such a mess in the MCU right now at this point that it's just really hard to understand some of these moves that they're making at this point and whatnot. It's become kind of a fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's just sad to see. It really is. I'm telling you, because it's just like, when you ask your kids about these films and they literally have the same criticisms we have as adults, what does that tell you? Right? Like, seriously, when they have the same exact criticisms we do about Wakanda Forever. Oh, Namor was great until he got his ass beat all of a sudden for no reason, like out of nowhere, from a 13-year-old, right? Like, that was my main problem with the film, is that Namor was great, and then all of a sudden they made him a pussy. That's the same thing I thought. So it's that simple. That's how fucking basic this shit is. From the mouths of babes or whatever, right?
Yep. Very true. All right. So, moving on past episode 6, moving on to episode 7, which happens to be called, What If Hela Found the 10 Rings? That's right. So, as I so beautifully earlier started talking about this episode versus the other one, basically it starts out, like I said, Odin is fed up with Hela's bloodlust, and we'll do them at the same time. We'll do ratings at the same time. And so, basically, he ends up doing the same thing he did to Thor, taking away her helmet, just like how Thor got Mjolnir taken away from him in the original Thor film. and gets cast down to Earth. Now, at this point, they destroy Majorna, which I thought was hilarious, especially because they did that in Ragnarok itself, and very, very, very much Ragnarok feelings throughout this episode. She gets sent down to the time period when the Mandarin is in power, or Wen Wu, as he's called from Shang-Chi. They meet up. Basically, he, attempts to basically kind of pull her into his army. She resists, so they fight, of course, a little bit until he subdues her. Then they kind of become kind of acquaintances, kind of friends a little bit. She kind of hangs out for a while, is kind of being peaceable, listening and learning things from him. And then she tries to run away. And as she runs away, she tries to get to her helmet and get it on. And she does the same thing like Thor did in the first film, where she tries to pull it out of the slab and it won't come out. And basically, Wenwu makes his way back to her, and she basically kind of gives up there. So basically, then she starts to kind of come up with an idea of how she can use this to her advantage. And basically, she starts to get an idea about the 10 rings. So before we kind of go past more of that, let's just talk about the kind of beginning sequence there, leading up to after Hela tries to run away and then decides there's better things that she could do. What are you guys' thoughts kind of in the beginning of that episode? What did you think about it, like kind of doing the same thing as the Thor first film? How did you feel about like having it, instead of Thor it being Hela being cast down to Earth and her trying to get the helmet out of the rock foundation like Thor did in Thor 1 with the Majorna and stuff like that? Just kind of what your thoughts and the introduction of Wenwu and stuff. Starting with you, Andreas.
Sure. Yeah, I really like this opening. It was really great to start this episode. I like the inverse of Hela being like in Thor's position, just like the first film, because it gives like this episode a more grand scale. Like it's this very Shakespearean kind of drama kind of episode when we go through the episode. So I really like that, and then I think the episode beginning, this opening sets up the tone and scale you're gonna get for this episode. And I think that it did very well. And plus, I think the animation there was so beautiful. Like I like how the Rainbow Bridge is like very like stale but like very beautiful with the gold stuff like that. It's really nice. But yeah, I thought that was really good. And then obviously doing exactly making the helmet be whoever holds it will be worthy is really great. And I like how they set that up. And I thought when we get into it, I thought this was a better version of the first Thor film. I like the first Thor film. I think it's underrated, but I think this episode does it way better, because one thing that it has is more magic and not this like small town thing that the first Thor movie have. And what's the stop point, Cyber? Just
up to when she tries to steal her helmet back and then decides to kind of give up and think of a plan.
Yeah. When she drops down, well, first off, I like how we first see the helmet drop down first, which was really neat, and I like how this dreary and dark it is, raining on the helmet, because it's almost like this hellish helmet, to wear. It's almost like the almost like the mask, Jim Carrey, like very dark and sinister, and yeah, and then you see like the whole army of the 10 rings, which is really great. I like the 10 rings. I spoke this in the live stream with Jeff last week. I love Wenwu. He's a great villain as well, and I was very excited to see more of the 10 rings in this episode. In this, I brought this up with Jeff, last week, and I think they nailed it so good. And it was great how like Hela just randomly comes in and is like, excuse me, that's my helmet, and being very sash, like a queen sash, which is great. And yeah, this, and Oh man, I can't believe it. Like Hela and Wang Wu had chemistry, was great. Like, you see she can, defend herself. Like she did the Catwoman, Batman Returns dance. Like, oh please, why you hit me? I'm a woman. And and like she just like bam beats them up. Just like Michelle's fight versus Catwoman, which I love. By the way, Kate Blanchett, great actress. She also done voice work. If you haven't seen the, How You Train the Dragon films, she's really good there. And yeah, it was great to just hear her again as Hela. Again, another great villain I love in the MCU. And yeah, instead of like Thor in the first film, where he was really sad that he could not lift up the hammer. I really like that we're consistent with Hela's characterization, that she's a villain, or she's a fighter and villain simultaneously. She will always have a plan, and so I really like that. After she can lift the hammer, is like, okay, plan B. So I really dug that. So overall, I think the opening is awesome. It's really great. I mean, much better than the last episode we're talking about. This is the episode that I think the MCU should look at as influence.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Jeff, your thoughts leading up to when Hela gives up after she can't retrieve her helmet from the ground.
No problem, sir. I typically don't need you reminded on that, sir. I appreciate you very much doing it and whatnot, everything. But unlike 60-minute man, when I get long-winded, it's within the parameters of what you give me to talk about when I'm on the panel, if you've ever noticed, right? Like, I never go past it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I only bring things up if they're later on. If I say, hey, I'm not trying to go ahead, I'm just busting your balls, Andreas. You know I love you, motherfucker. Seriously.
Come on, it was last Monday, right?
I haven't busted your balls at all. I haven't busted your balls once in a day. So,
No, you busted, my thing last Wednesday and Echo episode 1. Who are you talking about?
Well, isn't it amazing how cynical everything is sometimes with the Bleeding Edge, folks? Like, look at us. We're covering Echo. So they throw us episode 6 of What If, and it has this whole hardcore, Indian, like, Native American thing that we already are working with Echo, right? Which it looks like it's going to be fucking like not so fun to like get into, I can't wait now. And on top of that, right? We've already covered the first season of What If. And then on top of that, I just reviewed Shang-Chi with freaking Andres for a second time and whatnot and everything. And we just talked about fucking Wu and everything, Wu and everything and whatnot, the 10 rings. Just amazing sometimes, folks, how everything just kind of crosses over here on the show. But honestly, to bounce off of Andreas, with Hela, she really is a different person than Thor. She's motivated by completely different things than Thor is, right? So she would never be the type to become emotional at the loss of her powers or whatnot and everything. You have to take into consideration that although they haven't given us a ton of backstory about her, in Ragnarok, before she was ever given the power, she's always been a killer and a fighter like that. You know what I'm saying? She never needed the hammer. She never needed the crown or the helmet or whatnot to kill people. She shows that in the episode, right? She's just not quite as powerful. But honestly, this was a great episode. This was literally entertaining as fuck to watch. Like, they really packed a lot into 31 minutes. This was the shorter episode, wasn't it, out of the two? I think, right? This was compelling animation, compelling storytelling. And yeah, Andreas, Kate Blanchett, what do you expect from Kate Blanchett? She kills everything, man. Seriously, I forget the name of the movie, but I wanted to add it to our list with me and Cyber. But the movie she did in like 99 with Tommy Lee Jones, the Western, was fucking unbelievable.
Was it The Missing?
The Missing.
Yeah.
Missing. Great film. Great. Her old school Southern American accent was unbelievably impeccable in that film. She's a lot of talent.
Yeah. We also need to review the Sam Raimi film called The Gift. Really great film. Also starring Kate Blanchett. Really good.
No, she's good in everything. I really enjoyed them just cutting her loose in this one. And just like the only real episodes that I've liked of What If so far had the same formula, I just loved how they tied the concept of this episode into three already, known MCU properties: Ragnarok, the first Thor film, and Shang-Chi, all packed into one story, right? Why not just use what's at your disposal? You don't got to create new shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all right there underneath your fingertips. You got Kate Blanchett, use her. You know what I'm saying? If she wants to voice come back and voice her character, cut her loose and let her do her fucking thing. Clear the path. Of course she can vibe with any voice actor that does Wong Wu. She's Kate Blanchett, man. Right? Like, bitch could you could blindfold her and whatnot and everything, and she'll out-act other motherfuckers. So I'm just saying, like, I mean, she's got hella game. Somebody told me once that she was really good in The Lord of the Rings, too. I don't know. I didn't never watch them, but, I only know what I heard of the street.
She's great. There's one scene that she scares
me. Oh, good. That confirms the rumors then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the character starts with the E or something that she plays.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know. I'm not Lord of the Rings fans. I just seen I've seen the trilogy, but she's good in it.
It's a joke, brother. She plays Elendil. She plays the main character of the new Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Amazon series. The same character that's the main character of that series is played in the show in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the actress.
Right, Cyber?
Yep. Yeah. It just I for some reason, if my phone touches over here this cord, I guess it disconnects the camera. So I'm not leaving or anything. It just turns off the camera for some odd reason. I don't know why. You touch
the cord? No shit.
Yeah.
Is it because you need a dongle? Is it because you just need a dongle to be able to split them?
Probably. Yep.
Okay, well, let's talk after the show because I've got a shit ton of dongles just hanging out. I have a bunch that I've gone through and whatnot, and I don't use anymore. I've got more dongles than anybody should have. That sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? Having a lot of dongles. There you go, baby. You gotta love them dongles.
I don't know. It makes me think of dingleberries, I guess.
Dingleberries.
I haven't experienced many dingleberries recently, but you never know, right? They might cross my path on the road. No, I love that they brought Wen Wu into this and whatnot. That was a great pick. Shang-Chi would not have been bad to have been thrown into an episode, right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been so bad. You know what I mean? If they would have thrown him into something, maybe did something different with him, right? I'm sure that voice. That actor would have came back and voiced his character in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, imagine like a 70s a 70s comic accurate Shang-Chi episode. Like that'd be cool. Awesome.
No, I mean, as long as you use characters that we like. I mean, I can't wait to watch the 1602 episode. It's probably going to be fucking awesome. I bet. Right?
Oh, yeah, much better.
I love it when you take the characters you like in your current real time and you put them back in the day periods, right? That on its own, that concept is always this seems great. But either way, I love the fact that they spun off the first Thor film, which I do also think is underrated. As Andreas also said, and I'll double down on that and say that I think Thor the Dark World is actually underrated as well. I think that time is gonna give that film more credit. It will, but overall, I thought that it was just a great introduction. Good to see Odin again. The voice actor that did Odin did a great job with Odin. I thought very not a perfect connection to Anthony Hopkins, but similar, right? I didn't really notice that any kind of stark difference that really threw me off at all.
No,
especially when he raised his voice, right? I love the similarities of the structure of the first Thor film, the elements of Ragnarok in there too, and the fact that they never really flushed out Hela that much in Ragnarok. They just kind of threw her in there and whatnot and everything, right? And then it was they let it roll. Taika had so much to throw in there to that film, right? I mean, because they basically made that a Thor Hulk film. So I mean, at that point, I think that took away from what they could do with Hela, right? Although, hey, me personally as a fan, they could have added an extra half hour to that film and it would not have bothered me personally. But they never gave us much depth about her character. So like for me, I just thought it was really great seeing them together it made sense that when Wu would see her as an asset, right? No, you expect him to see talent when it's in front of him, right? And you can't blame him for trying to get some tail too, right? Because like Hela's not bad looking, especially when you take that fucking helmet off of her, right? That helmet really impedes her Instagram model looks. You know what I'm saying? It's really detracts her attractiveness. Like, I mean, she's unapproachable with that helmet on. Take the helmet off, right? You can talk to her.
Yeah, I do like that they like make the animation look like Kate Blanchett, like her design looks like just like her in live action, which is
Yep.
cool. So makes her even more beautiful in animation.
As opposed to crackhead Supreme Strange look.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Yep.
yeah, it's so weird.
All right. Thank you both. Great job, guys. All right. So after that happens, the wonderful little creature that we have come to know from Shang-Chi the movie that is called Morris. Morris, and from Shang-Chi, basically comes in contact with Hela and basically escorts her to Ta Lo, where she ends up getting introduced to the people of Ta Lo. She ends up talking with the leader and basically getting her to agree for her to help out and be a part of the world. We get to see Hela learning how to do martial arts and stuff, which was really super hilarious. And very similar to like when Shang-Chi's being taught in Shang-Chi. And we get to see that. We see her like fail several times and get better and better as time goes on, and eventually to where she's doing pretty good. Then that's when when Wu ends up popping up and they go to battle. And they go to battle, which was really I thought really interesting. Because he ends up deciding to help Odin, because Odin ends up coming down to Earth because Heimdall can't find Hela on Earth. So he makes an appearance to Earth, where he basically ends up battling against Wenwu. And so Hela sees what's going on and decides she's gonna help Wenwu out, and they basically end up battling Odin himself, and she ends up using the rings to help make her powers more intense. And while she's battling, she shows self-sacrifice, which allows the helmet to be freed and allows her to get it back so she has full power again. And she ends up basically defeating Odin, and basically they end up becoming taking over all the 9 realms and basically beyond, coming to rescue Gamora's people as Thanos attacks them. So yeah, very interesting episode, very well done. Yes, I agree. Yeah, Ta Lo. And basically we get kind of that, we get a little bit of Avengers Endgame in there, or Infinity War a little bit there, by the Gamora's people being saved by them. And I think overall, it just that this latter section was really entertaining, really action packed, lots of great action. And I really enjoyed what they did with Wenwu, what they did with Odin, how they made him kind of more like a almost like a dictator, almost a little bit. Like he was like an evil Odin, basically, even worse than he was like in the previous films. And I liked how they made kind of Hela like an anti-hero, and that was kind of interesting throughout the episode too, as well. But yeah, really great section. So what did you guys think about the latter half of the section of this episode? What did you like the most? What did you get out of it? And what did you think about it? Starting with you, Andreas.
Awesome. Two best things, or three. All right, number one, Morris. When I first saw Shang-Chi the first time, I saw this little bizarre creature that has no face. I was like, oh my god, this is my family. Literally my family, who are not show. I told that to my mom when I saw it. I was like, Mom, I saw you. You're this little creature named Morris. So yeah, I love Morris. He's like one of my favorite like fairy sidekicks we always get in these Disney films. Like he's up there with the raccoon from Pocahontas. That's what I'm saying. So don't judge me. It's just funny. A raccoon and then this bizarre chicken pig that Aquafina say to her in the live action film. But anyway, second is the character development of Hela. I really dug. I do agree with Jeff and Cyber. You guys, bringing up, the the 7 in the train. Yeah, I know that. Oh my god, yes. Anyway, I thought the character development of Hela was so much deserved because, as Jeff brought up before, she wasn't, fully developed in Thor 3. So I thought that it was really great to see her her background, because we know that, like, yes, oh hell Morris. I forgot to put that in the chat. I thought Hela was such an interesting character, with the information we got, like how Odin back in the day was a very dictator kind of, king. And so it was really great to see that in this episode. And contrast to Hela, who, was, made out as a fighter, similar to Shang-Chi, actually. If you think about it, like how Wang Wu is going to later train Shang-Chi to be the fighter, it's kind of similar to Hela in this situation, that Odin trained her to be a fighter. So it was really, like, great way to, like, contrast and compare Hela to some certain characters we know from the MCU, and in a very unique way, setting her here in the 10 Rings of universe of Shang-Chi. So I really appreciate that. My favorite scene from her character development was seeing that, when was it Wang Wu's wife in Tallow, when she does the kind of like those like robes around Hela, and she has this memory of her, with her wolf, and like that was one of my favorite scenes, and you really feel bad for her, Hela, and I thought that was one of the most beautiful and emotional sequence, and I thought that was really great. So I thought that was great, and I really appreciate the character development. Number 3, my favorite part was the action scene. I was so happy we got more of the 10 Rings in full action, because that was the best part about Shang-Chi. How I stated before, I'm a huge Iron Man fan. I'm a huge Mandarin fan. I was very happy how Shang-Chi, the live action film, reinvented the 10 Rings into these, 10 blazes in the arms, and it was really visually, like, spectacle great, and the action scenes in Shang-Chi with Wang Wu, and I really appreciate we see more of that with Wang Wu. Like, it was incredible how he used it against Odin. That was like so badass, and how he dodge it, how to hit it on hit Odin a couple times, and him stopping the Spectre that Odin has. So it was really great. I felt the action scene with the 10 Rings and all that was so deserved, and it was so spectacular. So I really thought those sequences were my favorite. And yeah, it was kind of funny that what's the end point, Saber?
To the end of the episode.
The end of the episode. I thought the end of the episode was very intriguing. I can finally see like a sequel to it, like, because it can make Shang-Chi be the daughter of Hela. That'd be kind of interesting, but we'll see. But anyway, but yeah, overall, I love this episode. I explained my 3 points. Those are my favorite about this episode, and I thought the animation was beautiful, and in this episode as well. So highly recommend this episode.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. Jeff, your thoughts on the conclusion of the episode, sir?
I enjoyed the Talo stuff. I felt like it wasn't fluff, right? Like, and it was good use of Morris in this episode, like much better than in, I mean, maybe, and it's not just because of the animation, but maybe it is the animation, but he actually was entertaining for me in this episode. But then again, it's Cate Blanchett, right, with it as Hela, so they let her actually use humor in this. We didn't see her use any humor in Ragnarok. She was all you know, doom and gloom. Like, you know, I'm the, you know, the god of death or whatever, whatnot, or whatever, hell or whatever her shit is. And like, that's it. That's all you got. There was no quips coming from her or whatever, whatnot. Right. So like, in a way, it's kind of interesting because, yes, she is fine as hell. To this day remains fine as hell. But either way, you know, I'm not going to get into my thoughts on older women, but for another show. But no, she kind of reminds me of how in Ragnarok they really let Chris Hemsworth let loose with Thor with the humor in a way that was not like Love and Thunder, where it was like so fucking cheesy and like childlike, almost like stupid, right? Which just continued as a current theme all through Love and Thunder, just that stupid humor that was just not funny. Like the only thing that, you know, that was funny was how ridiculous it was. You know, it's like they were doubling down on shit that was stupid. But either way, I like that contrast of how they gave Hela that same room to kind of be the quipper, right? Out of everybody who was, you know, think about who we had to work with in this episode. None of the other characters would be the type to be the type to use humor, but her. Who else would do it? Not Odin, not Wang Wu. You know, Wang Wu, he doesn't tell jokes, really. You know, he's not that charismatic all that much. This would have been Wang Wu before meeting his wife, I would have assumed. You know, which changed him a lot. So, you know, basically, I loved the humor. It was actually, I mean, I wasn't like laughing my ass off, but it made the episode more entertaining. And it really, the character that they created for the episode in Ta Lo, the Jeriel or whatever character, I liked her, right? Like, you know, that whole section of the episode going into the ending really showed character growth for her, right? Like, they made it very simple. You know, when Jiraiya or whatever asks her what she wants, right? It reminded me of Loki in Loki season 1, right? With the TVA being interrogated by Morbius, and Mobius asking him, "Oh, you know, what do you really want? What do you really want?" Yeah, I know. I called him fucking Morbius, you motherfucker. You son of a bitch. I did it now, too, for the first time ever. I've always called him Mobius. Now I fucking called him Morbius.
Goddamn, Andres.
Morris. We're talking about Owen Wilson's character. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Morris, the chicken pig. I
can't blame myself. I can't blame you on this one. I did it on me. That was me actually calling Mobius Morbius on me. That was not a correlation. Because we haven't talked about this in a long time. So, like, that was all on me. But no, it reminded me of Mobius and like how Mobius managed to get Loki to admit who he really was and what he really wanted. That he didn't know what he wanted, right? And what did Loki really want at the end of the day? Free will. He wanted the chance to change his own destiny and whatnot, right? And be somebody different, right? That's what he ended up wanting. Well, they managed to flush that out in the Ta Lo scenes in like 10 minutes. Not even. In like 8 minutes, they managed to flush that out. And then all of a sudden, Jolly Rhea or whatever gets in there, beats her down physically, and at the same time gets her to admit through her bullshit that all she really wants is to have the choice to live a different life and not have to be controlled, right? From that point on, her turning point as a character in the episode is unbelievable, right? Like her evolution and her arc. This is the first actual, other than the Nebula episode, this is the first serious episode of What If we've gotten where we actually saw a character display an arc across the episode, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, and we'd seen it before with Nebula, but we never saw it with Hela. That makes it even better for What If, right? That's more What If-ish. So I loved the fact that by learning in Ta Lo what she learned and understanding herself better, she grasped that, you know, let's be honest here, like you already hinted, Cyber, they've always kind of portrayed Odin as really kind of like this pure figure, this pure king and god and everything and whatnot. But in all honesty, again, they didn't explore heavily in Ragnarok at all, like his backstory with Hela. But he's the damn one that turned Hela into what she is, right? It's him. He's responsible for it. He's a pretty dark dude. He has a pretty shady past, Odin, right? We don't even know who Hela's mother is, right? It's not Frigga. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, right? Because we already heard her mention that she didn't like Frigga during the episode, or Freya. I'm sorry. Is it Frigga or Freya? I apologize.
Yeah, Frigga.
Frigga.
Frigga. Yeah.
Yeah, Frigga.
No. So we don't even know who nobody probably even knows who. It's probably just some whore that Odin banged, right? That's Hela's mom, right? No wonder Hela's pissed. She doesn't even know who her mom is. I mean, Odin bangs like mythical creatures and shit like that, and whatnot. But who the hell knows, you know? Right? He gets down.
Probably some orcs and some
Yeah.
goblins.
Yeah, he bangs like monsters and shit and whatnot. He just gets he's all over the place.
Minotaurs.
I think I saw him on FetLife one time. Right? He has an account on there. But anyways, no, it was really cool that the Tao Lo folks didn't help her. That like they put it on her to go and help, with the 10 ring situation and whatnot. When she realized, Odin coming to Midgard was actually going to harm Midgard, right? And whatnot and everything, right? And that honestly, she saw the good in in the Mandarin and saw like on her own, sort of in a contrast to him, seeing the fighter in her, she saw the goodness in him and saw that it was worth it for her to, to help protect those 10 rings, and that it wouldn't do Midgard any good or anybody any good for Odin to have them just to stick in his trophy room, right? Because really, when it boils down to it, his sense of peace sometimes is not really peace. It's sort of the Asgardian version of it. That's self-serving. So it just was really great, and it was really, really awesome how she on her own reiterated his own words to her, right? In order to properly restore back her ability to get her helmet back, and that they then depicted her similar to Ahsoka with the white robes, like sort of like a la Gandalf, right? Like they did with Ahsoka. They made her all white. They took away the black, right? And they made her an all white character right there. You didn't have to be told. She didn't have to come out and say, I'm now the goddess of life, or like light or whatever, right? They didn't even go there. You didn't need to. It was right there. You saw it. Why the hell else would they bring her? Like, it was almost like a beam of light from heaven hitting her, right? So there's a lot going on there. I thought really got packed into that there at the end, like some serious some angles being added there. Like you guys didn't get any of that, like heaven shining from heaven kind of vibe coming down, because I did.
Twitter called her was the god of life, because when someone wears like a literal white robe, it's more like a symbol of like life and living. And
her energy also became light and white.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So no, there's a lot of meaning to her changing that, because when she was Hela, with the green, it's more like hell, and death and all that. And then this is more
a major contrast to her character at the start of the episode. Her art,
exactly. So which is good.
Yeah, no, it's hats off to them. They did a great job with the writing and whatnot, the storytelling in this episode. They crammed a lot in 31 minutes, man. Right? I mean, seriously. When you take into consideration the end credits are 3 or 4 minutes too. That was a tight, compact episode. Definitely, probably. I mean, I don't know. As of right now, this is the best one we've gotten, I think. And hats off to them and whatnot and everything. And hats off to Kate Blanchett for coming back and voicing her character and giving a shit and wanting to come back and whatnot and everything and voice it. Right? Who knows when she did this episode? But she's great as a voice actor. I mean, I really liked her. It was nice to see a different version of Hela. That's what you want from What If, is what we got from episode 7. That's almost like the perfect diagram that they should copy almost for what to do to some extent with some of these episodes to make them better, I think. Right? Take characters that we already like, that we didn't even get much of, right, Cyber? We didn't get much of Hela. So, again, it goes back to our conversation. They did a good job here. They brought back somebody that we didn't get much of. Correct. It's a simple thing, right? It's fan service.
Yep.
I'm sure there's probably there's a lot of Thor fans that probably really like this episode.
Yeah, so it was definitely, bringing back Hela was a great idea. Bringing Wenwu into as well was a great idea. Simply the fact that these were characters that we haven't gotten much screen time from. Wenwu's only been in one film. We've only had Hela in one film, and they killed her off, in that one film, along with Wenwu too in his film. So I mean, these are characters that it would be interesting to see what other things they could have done or where they go. So this definitely was the better of the two episodes and was, very well done. There was a lot packed into this 30 minutes of this episode. So I totally agree with you there. All right. Let's go with ratings now for both episodes, starting with episode 6. What ratings would you guys go with? Starting with you, Andres.
Sure. I say in the private chat, 7 out of 10. It was okay. I don't want to talk about it again. So let's move on. Let's talk about Morris. Hell, Morris, please.
Jeff, your rating on 6.
I will give episode 6 2.5 white vision penises. To bounce off of Matthew. Great job, Matthew, for inserting the white vision penis deal into the rating system. I appreciate that very much.
Oh my God.
So hats off to you. I'm sure you're probably busy fighting snakes and kangaroos and shit, but that's okay. So yeah, I'll give episode 2.5, and I'm only giving that 2.5 to it, only because I did find it entertaining, to some extent. It was watchable. Like I didn't, have any pause or whatnot. It was only after it was done and I really thought about it in my head for a minute and whatnot, and thought about what they did with it, that I was like, oh, come on, man. No, I'm really only giving that 2.5 to it, again, because it was watchable and because I'm borrowing 2.5 from my rating for episode 7 to give it over to 6.
There you go, folks. I give it 1 star out of 10. I just thought it was crap. I absolutely thought it was just crap. Absolute crap. All right. Episode 7, guys. Andres, your rating for episode 7.
All right. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 Morrises. One of the best episodes of this season. I think, look, my personal favorite MCU film, Shang-Chi. You gave me my favorite Thor villain, Hela. And you mix that together, you make my favorite episode this season. So yeah, I think this is a great episode for season 2. I think it tops the Pure Quail episode for this season. Yeah, I just love everything about that. So that's all.
Excellent. Jeff, your rating on episode 7, sir.
10 out of 10. And I'm going to give my Monica Rambeau award to Morris on this one. He deserves it. He redeemed himself. Versus the live action Shang-Chi Morris version. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really wasn't doing it for me.
No.
But in animation, man, he works, dude. He's all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, he could have improved episode 6 too if they would have brought Morris in episode 6 too.
Oh my God, yes. I will 100% agree with that. I'll be so more happy if Morris was in that episode. They should make an episode about Morris in general. Like,
it's quite possible that they got Chloe Zhao involved in episode 6. There you go, folks. When you pull off operations like that, you're gonna get episodes like episode 6 and What If.
There you go, folks. I give episode 7 10 out of 10 Morrises as well. Even though the character wasn't actually Morris in this episode, he had a different name. But yeah. He had a different name, but but he looks just like Morris. 10 out of 10 Morrises for this episode 2. It was very entertaining. And definitely it was a great break from the crap that was 6. And I would definitely have to say this was probably my second favorite of the series so far. I really enjoyed it. I thought Cate Blanchett coming back was great. And I liked the whole concept of her and Wenwu working together. That was really cool. All right, folks. So that is What If episode 6 and 7. Great discussion from everyone on the panel. You guys are fantastic. You guys did an amazing job. So what we'll do is we'll get into some plugs here and then get the hell out of here.
Most definitely. I'm gonna plug my local CVS. I'll save that for private conversation in the studio after the show, folks. Let me go ahead and pull up plugs real quick. I apologize. I was so into talking about episode 7 of What If that it threw off my producing production game over here. Anyways, in the meantime, as filler, while I'm pulling up everybody's YouTube channels and whatnot, everything, I just want to point out really quick that we do have our last 2 episode reviews of What If next Friday, episodes 8 and 9, and then we'll be done with this series. At least, for now, until we get season 3. And that we also have Echo episode 2 coming up next Wednesday. And then on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge report, Monday coming up, we've got a Deadpool 3 sort of preview expanded, along with the impact of the Jonathan Majors firing on MCU's phase 5 and phase 6, along with our X-Men animated episode reviews of episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah. And they're much better than episode 6 of What If. So that's good news.
Yes, most definitely. As Cyber already pointed out earlier, Cyber loves the X-Men animated animation.
Oh God. I mean, love the show. It's one of those best Marvel shows.
It is. And you know what? Folks, it's on a positive note. I don't see how they can fuck up X-Men 97. We do get to review that. Apparently, that's our next show after Echo. It's going to be X-Men 97. So,
I think right now I'm more excited with the X-Men content than really any of the MCU content.
I am too. It's nice to have something exciting to be looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an X-Men fan, you're happy this year we're getting X-Men content. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Andreas, Pop Culture Guy. This is my channel, the Pop Culture Guy channel presents. I'm still up to 873 subscribers, so nothing new. I just recently posted my Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings review, so check that out. I also post my top 10 favorite Batman Beyond villains because January 10th was the 25th anniversary, so which is awesome. Love that show as a kid. But yeah, so working on some couple projects. I don't know what, but yeah. So far January has been a good month for me, which is good. So yes, but thank you everyone for supporting me and Cyber. Please help us reach that mark for 2024, and then we should be good. But yeah, and I don't know we're gonna do live stream. I mean, I guess I'll just tell Jeff we'll probably do Jackie Brown, make it easier and get that over with.
We're already doing Jackie Brown on our slate. I already picked it for us. Remember?
Oh, okay.
You need to pick your movie. You need to pick your movie for After the Rock.
Oh yes, I did.
Remember?
Yeah, I already have mine.
-1.
Oh God, no, what? Yeah, we need to do Godzilla -1.
You can add that. You can pick Godzilla -1.
Yes, let's do that, please. Because
you want to do that?
Yes, I want to do that one because I'm like dying to talk about that, and I hope you guys are dying to talk about it too.
Thank you, Cyber. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
All right, folks. If you like my moderating or you like me here on the panel on the MCU'S page, you can definitely check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere. Currently at 730, picked up another couple subscribers since the last time I was on. And as you can see there, my most recent review just went up today. My trailer reaction to Beverly Hills Cops actual app, which will be coming out this summer on Netflix. The 4th in the Beverly Hills Cop series. Great to see Eddie Murphy back as Axel Foley. It'll be great. Also, as you can see there, I got my Wonka review, which you should definitely check out. It's really fun. My -1 review, if you guys want to talk about Godzilla -1, check out my review of that. Great movie. One of the best Godzilla films around. Definitely check that out, people. Really fun. And try to keep it up. Did a mini Echo series review there for you guys and did Cube Zero. which is by far the best of the Cube series. And yeah, just keeping up, trying to keep stuff up. I have filmed my best of and worst of 2023, so those will be up soon, along with a few other reviews. So keep your eyes out for some more and new content, people. Just gonna keep pumping it out for you guys, and help
most definitely.
get to that 1,000 mark.
Cyber, send me some of those pictures you have on some of those. I'd like to have those. They'd be very helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
The ones you have on your shorts.
I did send some of those to you.
I know you did. So are those some of the ones you sent me?
Those are some of the ones I sent you, yeah.
All right, perfect. Then don't even worry about it. Then you took care of it already. and folks, I'm taking a break from the massage parlors for a minute and whatnot. I've been massaged to the point now where my back's starting to actually get fucked up. From the massages. You know what I'm saying? Some of these bitches are pretty rough with you. Pardon me. I didn't mean to say use words like that, whatnot. I know, I know that we're the Kevin Feige MCU zone, so I can't be talking like that. But no, so I'm not going to be plugging anything this week besides, as I already said, the fact that we've got some good shows coming up, and we have people, coming on the shows and whatnot for collaborations. We're back in the collaboration game and whatnot and everything. We've even got some women coming on the show again. We've got Cal coming back for, and Ben and Nate and hopefully Jassim to help us wrap up What If. And we have a great slate of shows to cover this year. A lot of good content, a lot of good movie reviews, and we're going to start adding some polling, adding some more, actual engagement with people out there and whatnot. Maybe not in the audience yet, just to try to, flush out some different stuff and whatnot, and have you all kind of like tell us what to review and what to cover more, which I think will be a good direction for us. But Cyber, as always, sir, thank you for doing a great job moderating this evening. Andre is the pop culture guy. We appreciate you. I appreciate myself and my green screen. And Dodger, we appreciate you too, brother, even though you're passed the fuck out. We'll see you later, folks. God bless you. And don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Cool. So, I'm giving you a call about 5 o'clock, all right? Sit, all right?
Yeah.
All right, sweetheart. Take care of yourself, all right?
Hey, okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a hunt, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully